You can't log on to Instagram nowadays without seeing money, 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 and what it takes to be a top 1% man is you need to earn X amount. But what if I told you that the guys that you respect, the Dana Whites, the Andrew Tates, the Alex Hormozis of the world, it's actually not about money when it comes to what makes these guys so powerful, which is what we're going to dive into in this video. I'm going to give you the 5 things that you could implement into your own life without ever pulling out your wallet that's going to make you command respect when you walk into any type of room. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 1, you need to kill the victim inside of you. Not long ago, I was driving in downtown Dallas and saw a bunch of fat, out of shape people protesting outside of a Tesla dealership, blaming some random billionaire and claiming that he is the reason that their life is in shambles. You see, what these people fail to realize, and it's actually what most of society fails to realize, is that they need to adapt an extreme ownership type mindset and lifestyle. You see, everything good that happens to you is your fault. Everything bad that happens to you is also your fault. That right there is how you have actual power in your life. Because when you realize that, hey, things happening in my life is my fault and I have the power to change them, is actually how you end up achieving success. When you start putting your problems elsewhere and saying, hey, the government did this or XYZ person did this, that is you taking power away. And that is not what masculine, confident men do. And if you ultimately want a family, your wife and your children are basically going to be looking at you to have the answers as that guy, because you are that dude. One of the most powerful things that I have ever done in my life is actually this time last year, I moved from a comfy life in the United States and I quit my 6-figure job to move to the island of Cyprus, where I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I had no income. I had a little bit of money saved up, but I actually moved out there to figure out what I wanted to do next. I needed a cheap place to live. My mindset the entire time being there was an extreme ownership type mindset. I said, I'm going to figure this out. I know I don't want to work for anybody else, but I don't know what that next step of my life looks like. So in the span of 1 year, I built a multiple 6-figure agency from no idea what I was going to do to actually doing that. And now, as I've gotten out of that and I came back to the United States, my sympathy level for people is actually extremely low. It's basically 0. If you have that extreme ownership type mindset and don't put your problems on anybody else, on any random billionaire or anybody else out there in the world, and you just say, hey, whatever's in front of me, I'm going to deal with one step at a time, and I'm going to lay the foundation and build my life one brick at a time. That right there is ultimately how you achieve success. Number 2, ambition. I recently went back to my hometown, and believe it or not, I ran into some of the people that I went to high school with, and those guys are still doing the same shit that they were doing like a decade ago when we were just graduating. You see, there's no quicker way to die as a man than be striving towards nothing. At the end of the day, you want to figure out as a man, what is it that you actually want to achieve in your life? So you have your goal and then figure out the steps necessary in order to achieve those things. And at the end of the day, as a man, there's nothing more important than to be working towards something. Even if it's not paying off right away, that's okay. But slowly but surely, you take the right steps, put one foot in front of the other, and eventually you are going to get to where you want to be. Whether that's starting a YouTube channel, whether that's building a social media agency like I did, starting your own business, these things take time. But as long as you have that ambition and that hunger and you are working towards something, at the end of the day, that is all that matters, especially when it comes to women too. You know, not all women out there are just like money hungry, you know, gold diggers that people, that you see your favorite influencers talking about. No, it's actually that they're looking for guys that are ambitious, that aren't boring, that actually have some sort of substance to talk about. And at the end of the day, if you as a man can provide that and just be an interesting, well-rounded man that has a bright future ahead of himself, that is ultimately what so many women and so many people want in this life, is passionate, hungry men that are looking to achieve something in their life. And even if they're not there yet, but as long as you show promise and that you're striving towards something, the opportunities in your life, the universe is going to reward you more than you ever know. Number 3, fitness. You see, regardless of your favorite influencer or your favorite celebrity or millionaire, I don't know who you look up to, Andrew Tate, Conor McGregor, any of these guys, they're all in incredible shape. And they understand one thing, is that money, no matter how much you have, it cannot buy how you look. And when you walk into a room, people are able to see how disciplined you truly are. You see, when I was in my sophomore year of high school, I used to walk around at 89 pounds. I was the smallest kid on my wrestling team. And instead of letting the cards fall where they may and just saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a skinny kid forever, I decided to take that extreme ownership mindset and eat more, lift heavier, and ultimately I was able to transform my body, and I'm extremely happy with where I'm at. And the thing is that no matter how much money you have as a guy, you will always be more respected if you are in great shape. It's just the truth. It doesn't matter what the fat positivity influencers tell you or the blue-haired liberals tell you. At the end of the day, that is ultimately what does matter, and that's something that money can't buy. Number 4, impeccable communication skills and social skills. Back in high school, I used to have the nastiest anxiety. It was just debilitating, especially when it came to talking to new people and, most importantly, women. What I did that absolutely changed the course of my life was I put myself in uncomfortable situations. I basically made it in my own mind that I was a pussy if I did not go up and talk to a specific girl that I wanted to or initiate a conversation. That's what I told myself in my mind. And you might be watching this and being like, that's absolutely psychotic. But it absolutely changed the course of my life. Because when I started to put myself in uncomfortable situations and tell myself, you have to go talk to this girl, you have to go do that. It was basically like a 3, 2, 1 and go. That right there made me absolutely invincible, because now I'm able to talk to anybody, whether it's, a business situation, whether it's somebody new, I'm able to just talk. And I don't have that same anxiety that I once did, and because I'm just able to overcome it now, where it's like I feel those emotions and I just keep going. But that took a lot of practice. So if you're watching this right now, figure out how can you put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, whether it's making a comment to somebody at a grocery store like, hey, I like your shoes, or whether it's talking to that girl that maybe you've been afraid to talk to. All of these things basically make your social skills impeccable. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And all of these things are going to give you a ton of practice. When you talk to one girl, let's say, and things mess up, or you talk to somebody like in a business deal and you mess up, you now learn, you take those lessons and say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do that moving forward. And then you adjust, and then you adjust and adjust and adjust, and you get better as you go. So those things right there are going to help you immensely. If you're able to talk to people and you're personable and you're likable, that right there will ultimately transform your business life, it'll transform your relationship life, and overall well-being. Trust me on this. Number 5, building your personal brand. Whether you like it or not, the world has become digital. And you're either invisible or you're becoming a somebody. And at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I'd rather be a somebody. And ultimately, there's 2 ways to do this. Number 1, you build a personal brand. This is more geared towards your lifestyle, your hobbies, your interests, things that are less business focused, that you actually just enjoy talking about. This is going to be a little bit harder to monetize. However, it's going to be a lot easier to gain an audience. Number 2, you build a business brand. So let's say you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you put out content that's geared more towards business stuff. So basically the industry that you're already in. And there's a few ways to do that, but the easiest way is to just grab your phone and create a selfie video of you talking about the thing that you're most passionate about. That is the easiest way to go about this. And ultimately, if I was starting out from zero, I would go either on Instagram, I would go on TikTok, or I'd go on LinkedIn. It all depends on where your target demographic is. But either way, be creating instead of just consuming endlessly, because you can either have this thing destroy you, or you can actually use this thing to make a boatload of money. And there are people a lot dumber than you making a lot more money than you. And all it takes is a set of balls to put yourself out there and a little bit of brains in order to talk about the thing that you actually want to talk about. So that's my advice for anybody looking to build their personal brand. Hopefully that helps, and follow me for more value.